Blah, blah. Not my words, the words of Adam Pacitti halfway through his shreddies this morning. Which is why we have the delicious Sam Driver here.
I've not even had my coffee yet.
I have a little bit of coffee, and then we're not going to start until you've done a little bit of coffee. There we go. A little bit of coffee.
News!
There it is. Tony Khan calls out Randy Orton on Twitter. Which top AEW star is reportedly injured? And which Japanese wrestling legend is going to be part of WrestleMania weekend? Find out soon. Imagine how boring the wrestling news would be without Twitter, Sam.
Yeah, it's sort of blown apart the wrestling industry, hasn't it?
Just a little
All
bit.
the mystery's gone.
Yeah.
Now people just get angry and shout at each other.
The one person I did not expect to be talking about the Twitter rage with this morning was one Tony Khan.
Yeah, he seems like such a reserved guy. And I'd imagine a guy who's been through a lot of media training and is sort of like very calm. He just seems like a cool, calm guy. Like the type of guy you go for a pint with and just talk about like TV shows or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He was having said pint when he checked his phone to see he'd been tagged in a tweet by CM Punk.
Yeah.
So let's pull this ball of yarn a little bit and examine what happened on Twitter last night. CM Punk, hyping up tonight's backstage appearance, said, "It is weird trying to catch up on 5+ years of wrestling. I'm doing what I can. There's bright spots, mostly women from what I can tell. There's bad too. I'm going to talk about it all. No one's safe. Join us." Hang on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Cease and desist, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to have you in a minute. He tagged in this tweet, not us, Renee Young, Booker T, Paige, Vince McMahon and Tony Khan. It's Tony Khan.
It's because he's a shooter. Pew pew.
Look at him shooting all them things. What did Tony Khan say to that, Sam?
Tony Khan responded, "No one is safe. Sounds like a plane full of wrestlers in Saudi Arabia." Oh, Tone. Oh, Tone, you little scamp.
Enter Randy Orton, who himself was having a pint with his mates, checked his phone in the toilet, and went, "What is this whole thing about glass houses and stones?" attaching an article about Tony Khan's dad being investigated for corruption.
Yes, Tony then responded to that with, "I thought you only tagged me in your post when you were grasping for leverage. That article's over a year old, and it's about baseless claims made about my dad years ago. That's the best you can do, nothing. Meanwhile, in the time since that was written, you used the N-word on Twitch." Me.
So much shooting, it's like Star Wars round here. It gets weirder. It gets, I don't know.
Star Wars was your point of reference for something. We live in a very real world with like all these awful atrocities. Star Wars.
Star Wars is the most real of all the atrocities. It carries on because then Brandy tweeted going,
Yes.
"That's the end of the fight, TKO." And then who tweeted Brandy?
Charlotte Flair, I didn't see this. Charlotte Flair responded with an eye roll emoji and please.
Getting amongst it, absolutely getting amongst what?
Meanwhile, Vince Russo is sat somewhere going, "I told you they all work together. Vince owns AEW."
Probably is, you know. He's having a pint as well, checking his
He'll
Twitter.
be doing more little paintings and trying to flog them on eBay.
Does he do that now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you not see his WWE versus AEW one, which was literally just WWE versus AEW in poster paint? Or it said something like, WWE owns AEW, and he's like, yeah, just like grand.
I like the idea of him maybe upgrading one day to MS Paint.
He's becoming the very thing he hates the most. He's becoming the crotchety old man.
Oh, yikes. He is becoming his own Jim Cornette, hoist by his own Cornette. I thought it's worth us mentioning this because we go to town quite a lot on Seth Rollins when he goes off on one on Twitter. So it's only fair that when somebody from AEW does it, we call it out too.
It's just baffling. I just opened my phone to see this. Like at about 4 a.m. I rolled over and just checked my phone, checked the time, and this was going on. I was like, oh God.
What I like is
we just went back to sleep. I was like, we're dealing with this in the morning.
We're very grateful to have such a wonderful community of people that have joined us at Cultaholic, to the point where I'll wake up in the morning and you've kind of done the job for me. I'll just be like, "Tom, what do you reckon?" Like, "Oh, okay." The day that Boa got injured, my phone lit up as well. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more will happen from this. I imagine Tony Khan might be waking up today going,
I reckon it was just I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, not the proverbial beer.
We're all getting worked into a shoot or whatever that Hulk Hogan tweet was. Like, marks don't know a work when a work's to work into a work yourself into a shoot, brother. that sort of thing.
Good night, Hogan. We'll stay with AEW for this. Looks like one of their top boys, one of the elites, could be out of action for a little bit, Sam.
Yes, Matt Jackson is currently injured and apparently unable to compete.
Which is why we saw Nick Jackson's first singles match in, what, 4.5 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the one thing that's making me sort of doubt this a little bit is that I think Matt was the guy that went through the stage last week. We went through the stage following Full Gear.
So you think this might be a bit of a work?
Yeah, because like Santana and Ortiz popped up and they got their heat back after getting thoroughly embarrassed by the Rock and Roll Express. I'm sure Matt was the one they put through the stage. I have such a hard time telling them apart sometimes. I'm sorry if it wasn't. I'm sure it was, Matt went through the stage with an assisted powerbomb.
Well, maybe Nick did, but Matt just felt the pain like
I'm sure they went after,
twins do.
I think they went after Nick's ankle with a sock full of baseballs, took him out, then they put Matt through the stage. Then they, I think, attacked Bryce. Bryce came out to put a stop to it, and they attacked him, and then it was Private Party who came out.
I love Bryce.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying Bryce's work as a referee.
Yeah.
You know, I heard people on a podcast this week really going to town on Bryce Remsburg, saying he's too OTT.
Like, it's wrestling.
Exactly.
There's no subtlety in wrestling.
Yeah, Squared Circle Gazette. Leave Bryce Remsburg alone. Yes, one of the two is injured, basically, is what we're saying. And I mean, if it's a shoot injury, whatever, it's still nice to see Nick Jackson actually having a singles match for the first time in
It's weird, isn't it? It's just one of those weird, surreal, you don't really expect to see it.
Yeah, I think he did all right, though. Yeah. It's almost like he's a proper wrestler. So, last night on Monday Night Raw, who's grading Raw today?
Jack, I believe.
Jack's doing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because Adam Pacifi's being sick into Cocoa Pop, so he can't do it.
Get him in. Just get him a bucket. Get him to do it.
Hello, I'm Mr.
Just shirking his responsibilities because he's not very well. Fans don't mind a bit of vomit. It's fine.
Exactly, they're fine with it. But on Raw last night, when the cameras went off, we had ourselves quite a cracking little main event by all accounts.
Apparently so, yeah.
The Fiend turned up and defended his Universal Championship in a steel cage match against Drew McIntyre.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Kane.
Oh, one day, mate, you'll get your Fiend Kane.
98 Kane, though.
Oh, with the mask on?
Yeah.
Because that means the Attitude Era is back.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
No, Half-Life Alyx has been confirmed, though.
Oh, really?
New VR game in the Half-Life universe, and it's sort of kicking up a bit of a fuss because you're going to have to buy Valve's VR headset, I think, to play it.
Oh, jeez.
Hopefully this means, though, Half-Life 3 will be confirmed soon.
Will our boys Triple Jump have more on this?
Yes, I imagine so.
Excellent. So hang on, CM Punk's back and Half-Life 3 is confirmed.
No.
Is this the end of days?
Half-Life 3 is, like, I guess, closer than ever. But even then, it's still like the distance between Earth and Jupiter.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's gone from being at Mercury, now it's at Earth.
Right,
yeah.
That's fine then. So the Fiend wrestled last night. The dark match against Drew McIntyre. The Fiend, I tell you what, Bray Wyatt is earning his money at the moment.
Yes.
He seems to be in the main event of every possible wrestling show anywhere
He's
ever.
the Universal Champion.
So across the universe, he is defending the Blue Universal Championship.
He's a big guy on the brand, he should be in the main event.
Exactly. Actually, as our SmackDown guy, as our resident SmackDown guy, thoughts on the new belt?
I like it. I know everybody was like, ooh. But like,
That's Adam this morning.
Yeah, like I was sort of hoping, I didn't see the side plates, which has annoyed me, but I was sort of hoping that Bray Wyatt would have a blue belt and the Fiend would have this horrible monstrosity.
Ooh.
Like, it's sort of like whatever's happening around him corrupts the belt and changes it. But whenever he's Bray Wyatt, it's blue. But no, I think it's just a blue belt. But you know, it had to happen because you can't have a red belt on SmackDown when it's the new flagship show. It's got to be blue, and it's sort of darker than the red, I think, or it looks a little bit darker. So it's like under the right light, and it looks like it's black, and we can just pretend it's back in the day, and it's a black strap, and yeah.
I can't help but feel that it's a lot of chopping and changing for a new TV show that we've seen.
I think it was completely expected. I mean, the Universal title moving across was something I didn't really see happening, but when it did, it had to go blue.
Yes.
I think it has to. And I think the belts last, is it like 5 to 10 years? Like something like that. So like hopefully we'll be due another belt redesign soon, or like a set of belt designs across the board. But I hope we can move away from the WWE logo being just the focal point. I think you need something a bit more elegant.
Yeah, something to encompass the new era.
Yeah.
But if you look on Twitter anyway...
It'll just be an iPad.
Yeah, oh, do you reckon?
Just an iPad on a belt.
It'd be a hologram that's beamed onto the chest.
Just a picture of whatever title you want. The champion comes down and you can swipe it as he walks past. Change it back to the Winged Eagle and be like, yeah.
That'd be all right, actually. Yeah, so if you want, there's some video, some fan cam footage of this main event from Raw last night. Drew McIntyre on the feet. Apparently, it was quite an aggressive match between the two.
It doesn't surprise me. Both guys are the type to go hell for leather.
It wasn't just a one and done. So find that on. It's online somewhere. Go seek it. And finally, a Japanese wrestling legend is going to be part of WrestleMania weekend. Which Japanese wrestling legend is it?
So it's Great Muta, otherwise known as the Great Muta, and he's been announced as the Great Muta, so we're getting the Great Muta character, and he's going to be at
Joey Janela's Spring Break 4.
Yes, he is. The Great Muta, if you don't know who he is, what? Like, how can you not know who the Great Muta is? He is, I guess he's a lot of people's gateway, like a lot of people around my age's gateway into Japanese wrestling, because he was on WCW a lot. He's sort of one of these weird figures where he's almost like a Hogan style figure. He's like massively popular. He was classically though like a very, very aggressive in-ring worker. But you know, he's still going. It's just sort of, it's more like exhibition matches and stuff these days, but he innovated the, he sort of popularized the moonsault press. He didn't invent it, but he innovated the Shining Wizard. Mm-hmm. The mist, like the big face paint, all that stuff. Like, Muta was terrifying. He has some incredible matches. A good series against Sting from back in the day. He's well worth checking out if you somehow don't know who the Great Muta is. But I think he's still capable of going, so I think it's going to be pretty fun to see him at one of these events. Oh,
God, yeah. Joey Janela's Spring Break shows, now under the banner of Game Changer Wrestling, of course.
Yeah.
They throw out some random stuff. I think it was at one of these events of this ilk where we saw Orange Cassidy versus Gangrel.
Yeah.
It's like somebody is pressing random on player select for some of these matches, and I love it. More of this. I think he'll be great. He doesn't do a lot of appearances. He was at Supercard.
No,
in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he runs Wrestle One, which is a promotion in Japan. He sometimes sporadically appears for them. There are some weird storylines involving him. And do you remember Akebono?
Yes,
Akebono was like this weird dragon baby that was somehow Muta's son and would wrestle in like a diaper and stuff. It was weird, but like. Yeah, like Muta's, if you get the chance to go see him live, like I've been lucky enough to meet him and he was really cool, so...
Ooh, little cheeky name drop there.
But I've never seen him wrestle in person, that's the one thing.
What did you talk about when you met him?
Very, very, very strained conversation. Things like, are you okay? Yeah? Are you okay? Yeah? How are you doing? Yeah, I'm good. You? Yeah? Enjoying your weekend? Yeah? Do you want this signing? Yeah. See you later.
Can we get the Sam Driver Wrestling Podcast where basically you interview wrestlers and all you do is ask if they're okay?
You're right, mate.
Yeah.
What do you have for breakfast?
Next week, John Cena.
You're right, John. Do you ever not like that your name's John? Do you think you prefer being called something like Simeon? Something like a little bit more interesting than John?
Simeon Cena.
Like Simeon Cena, or like, I don't know, like, did you ever think about changing your gimmick up? You know?
Somebody get this man either a podcast series or a Netflix series immediately.
What if he wore black jorts? Oh, he did. He has done.
He has.
Oh.
Why isn't black jorts evil John Cena?
Because there's no such thing as evil John Cena.
Fair point, well made. People accuse us of rambling in these news videos. You're so wrong. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.